A warm welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video of Leighton Crafts Junior Kids. I, Kajal Mullapudi, founder of Leighton Crafts, today would like to give a warm welcome to Aditi Wadhwa. Aditi has completed her bachelor's in Speech Language Pathology and Audiology from Dr. S.R. Chandrasekhar Institute of Speech and Hearing in Bangalore, and she's also attended several workshops on autism, cochlear implants in hearing loss kids, feeding and swallowing difficulties in children. Her motto in life is to reach out to all kids with communication difficulties and to mainstream them. That's such a beautiful logo, and that's such a beautiful motto that she has in her life. A big and a warm welcome to Aditi. Aditi, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kajal.
So, Aditi, can you tell the audience a little more about yourself?
Hello, everyone. So I completed my graduation in 2010 from Bangalore, and then I came back to my hometown, Vadodara, where there was relatively less awareness about this field during those times. I started working with multi-speciality hospitals and special schools, but I was not satisfied, as I always felt that the parents of the kids with learning difficulties had to really struggle for getting the basic therapies for their kids, and also from traveling one place to another. Then I started a small rehab setup, Samvad, which had all the therapies under the same roof, like occupational therapy, physiotherapy, remedial therapy, speech and language therapy. It saved the parents time and energy in traveling, and kids could also benefit more in this setup. Then I shifted to Pune in 2013, and since then I've been working with various hospitals and special schools over here.
That's interesting. And when you're talking about what you really did, how you set up the rehab, so I'm quite intrigued to understand what really intrigued you to pick up this career, the career of being, a speech and, hearing therapist. What exactly intrigued you to pick up this career?
Okay, so this takes me back to my school days where there was a girl who had a repaired cleft lip and palate, and she also had an unclear speech. She dropped out gradually after secondary school, but I realized that there were very few professionals working with these kids during those times. Then I decided, I researched about it, and I decided to do something in this field where I can work with the kids who have communication difficulties and bring a change in their life.
So there was a story, there was a reason why you picked this, and there was a, and wow, from your school days, to think about it and then actually get into
Hmm.
this space, I mean, that's really nice.
Thank you.
Aditi, in this pandemic situation, how do you think the children have got impacted overall?
So, this pandemic has definitely caused a change in everyone's lifestyle. And for the children, yes, it has been the most difficult phase right now. So, it has increased their behavior issues. Social isolations and home living practices have interrupted the child's physical activity levels, and it has increased stress and anxiety in them. Actually, the effect of pandemic have been worse for a differently abled population.
Okay, so you're saying that it has impacted the differently abled people in a not so nice way, or very differently as
Somewhat.
compared to regular children. Okay. So taking that a little further, what are some of the common challenges that you have seen in whether it's to do with language, whether it's to do with speech? What are some of the common challenges that you see nowadays?
So I come across a lot of kids who have issues in socializing and maintaining conversations. There has also been an increased population of kids who stammer more or maybe have misarticulations. So like post during this pandemic, I'm getting lots of parents who come to me and say they actually show me videos. So, and I'm surprised. The child had a normal speech and language development, and because of the stress and the anxieties and this social isolation, it has brought the child, I mean, into his own space, and the child has regressed in his speech and language skills. So yeah, I mean, this is something new that has been coming up to me.
And you just spoke about regression, and you gave a very nice example of, a child who had regular communication and somehow has regressed, especially during the current times. So, in your experience, what are some of the initial symptoms a parent must take care of or must notice, to even identify that, hey, my child might have a speech delay or a language delay? What are some of those initial symptoms?
So I feel if your child has not spoken his first meaningful word by 14 months of age, or does not have a vocabulary of at least 8 to 10 bisyllabic words around 18 months, like that's roughly 1.5 years of age, you should definitely consult a speech language pathologist. Also, if you feel a young child of like an 18-month-old is not able to understand your basic instructions, so like you say, give me the ball, give the glass to bhaiya, something like that, and he's not able to understand your instructions, or he's not giving you eye contact during conversations, you should talk to your pediatrician or maybe get your child's hearing assessed.
So these are some of those milestones that you've mentioned that a parent should
Yes,
be careful of. Okay.
yes,
Right.
yes.
And I'm sure in your field you would follow a specific way of assessing or evaluating a child.
Mhm.
Can you share with us what exactly is the process that you follow?
Yeah. So when the child comes to me, so first I informally check the child's hearing, and after that I try to, give some toys to the child, and I see the way he's manipulating the toys. Is it age specific or not? We try to check the child's cognition, his play behavior. I also do oral peripheral mechanism examination, wherein I check all the articulators, their movements, the vegetative skills like the blowing, sucking, chewing. How is the child doing that? Because some or the other way, they kind of try to like go together. The speech and your vegetative skills, or your chewing and all those things, they go together. So I do definitely cross check all those things. And after that, we have got some standardized formal tests and scales which we use to get a baseline. So which we do those tests, we get a baseline of the child's chronological age. Is it matching up with his developmental age? And then we form the baseline and formulate the goals on them.
It's an extensive process that you follow, end to end, where you look at what exactly is the challenge with the child, and then you also help the parents to put a goal in place, and then I guess you all partner together, right, when you
Yes,
all
yes,
work towards that goal.
yes, yes. We do it together. So definitely, I feel parents are the very important. We are just someone to guide them, but it's the parents who are actually working with the kids. So then, like we discuss the goals, and then like weekly or maybe monthly lesson plans, we work it together.
So that's great. And it's often said that the ages between 2 and 4 are the most relevant ages or the best ages to work with children, especially if they have any speech or language challenges. Would you please share your thoughts on this?
So yes, the age between 2 to 4 years of age, the child's brain is most active due to neuroplasticity, and doing any modifications in their behavior or to teach a language is much more easier and fast. Hence, we believe in early identification and intervention. So it's not that kids won't learn later, they definitely do, but then it becomes more time consuming to work with older kids. So the earlier the better is what the main goal is.
I hear you. So what you're saying is between 2 and 4 it's easier, but with older kids it will take them a little more
A little
time to
more.
walk.
Yes, yes. It becomes more time consuming.
Right. And Aditi, do you work with both categories of kids, the 2 to 4 and kids who are older as well?
Yes, yes. So I definitely work with older kids and even with adult patients who have, stroke, traumatic brain injuries, feeding, swallowing issues, post cancer. So I do work with, all the age ranges. So speech language pathologist role comes in place at all the age ranges. But yes, if I'm given an option, I would definitely choose to work with our younger ones.
And interestingly, you said you've given the option you'd like to work with them. Any specific reason why you shared that with us?
Yeah, because I feel that's what I mean. It's like we don't put any diagnosis so early to any child. It's just the symptoms that we see. So if we together, the parent and me, can actually pick up those symptoms, and then if I make them aware and we work towards it, it can change the child's whole life. I mean, if the parents are aware that like this is a red sign or a red flag, so it is going to change the child's whole life, and it is like it gives you such a positive feel that you could make a difference, and the child who was at a borderline is actually able to have that normal development. So it's, as I said, it's easier to teach that child and to work with them. But yeah, we do work with all age range.
And during our conversation, Aditi, you also said that parents play a very important role, in
Mm-hmm.
this journey of the child. So, what are some of the common mistakes that a parent would make? Because the idea or the objective is, yes, let's partner, let's work on the overall development. But I'm sure parents must be making some mistakes. Can you share with us, yeah, some
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
common mistakes that they make?
So one of the very common things I'm coming across these days is like a parent, 3 or 4 year old child would come to me and say the child is not talking. So like as I mentioned before, so like by 1.5 year of age, the developmental milestones would say that yeah, the child should have 8 to 10 bisyllabic words. So yeah, the one of the common mistake, as I said, is the parents wait. They wait for a long time, thinking the child is just a late talker and he would gradually pick up his speech, and then they come to me when the child is already like kind of time to go to school, and then they realize, oh, he's 4 years old and he's not talking. And then when I do a detailed assessments, I sometimes come to know the child has some degree of hearing loss, and that was one of the reason the child was not talking, or probably he's showing few signs of autism spectrum disorder which the parents failed to identify. So I mean, I really think the parents should not wait for that long. I mean, they should know about these, like we have the milestones for the child to crawl, to walk. The same way for 1.5 year old, if the child is not talking, you should not wait for that. You should definitely get the child assessed.
Right. So all the parents over there who are watching this video and listening, that's a key thing that Aditi is mentioning. The minute you feel there is a red flag, don't wait. Immediately go ahead and get the child assessed. Right. Aditi, there could be a lot of people watching this video, right? From parents, maybe grandparents, even school teachers, counselors, different set of the audience who are watching this. Is there any specific advice that you would like to give parents and caregivers, especially, who are watching this interview, to focus on developing their children the right way?
Yeah. So I would first of all request all the parents to please keep a track on your child's development and don't ignore any warning signs of delays. It might be just a small delay and the child would gradually pick up with his peers, but there is no harm in getting him assessed by a professional. Also, spend lot of your time with your toddlers. Speak to them, play with them, reduce the usage of mobile and TV, which has a negative impact on their whole development. I mean, the prolonged use, definitely.
You mentioned a very interesting point, and a lot of times this is discussed where you spoke about reducing the usage of TV and mobile phones, which I totally agree with. Having said that, in the current scenario, sometimes it could become challenging for working parents. And plus, now with everything moving online, even education moving online, somehow the screen time has increased for children. So let's say if, yes, while the use has to be limited, but let's say if for some reason the child still needs to view technology, would you give any simple tips or recommendations how it can still be used to enhance the child's speech or communication?
So, I mean, yes, because of the pandemic, you rightly said there has, I mean, now we have no control over it, right? The kids have to get exposed to some limited time of screen time for their learning purpose. But for the TV and the mobile, I would really be happy if parents can monitor it. They can maybe have a schedule. So, I mean, depending on the child's usage of how much screen time he's been exposed to, maybe say half an hour, 45 minutes, the child can have something educational being played for him on the TV or the mobile. And the remaining time, I mean, the parents can actually get the child with him in their household chores. So if the mother is cooking, if the mother is probably doing any household work, she can have the child with him, and then they can have a parallel talk, conversations, discussions. As I said before, the more you talk to your child, the more the more learning would happen, and the child would learn to communicate better with you. So try to have a schedule. I mean, just see, I mean, where the school hours or the learning has been done, then let the child have a break, let him relax, his eyes should feel fresh, and then again he can have half an hour, 45 minutes in between, something like this. So on and off they can have a schedule for the child, so that would help them. In the remaining time they can get the child with them in the daily household activities and kind of build on conversations.
Wow. So what I hear you say is even involving children in the regular things that we do will help to develop their communication because they're
Yes,
seeing what you're doing, they're
definitely.
listening to what you're saying.
Yes,
Right?
yes, yes.
That is so simple and so doable, because
Yeah,
we do spend some amount of time getting things done at home. So why not involve the child in that journey?
yes, yes, I mean.
Would you want to give any advice to people or society in general to be more open towards kids with learning difficulties or with speech delays? Any advice that you'd like to give to people?
So just a small thought is like I feel it's first the parents and the family who should accept a child with like special needs wholeheartedly, or maybe any learning difficulties. So many times I see the parents, it's either the mother would come and say the father, or the father would come and say the mother. One person is not accepting that the child has a problem. Let it be a small stammering or a misarticulation, for the parents to accept it that the child has got some delay or like kind of a some issue, so that acceptance is not there in the family. So once that would come, and once they accepted that their children are different and unique in their own ways, then it would be easier for them, kind of to positively get the child out, and for the society to accept the child. For the society, I feel yes, we all should be aware about the challenges which these kids are facing, and that would lead to a better acceptance. Once we know what they are going through, it is easier for us to accept those kids.
Aditi, I loved what you said at the end when you mentioned these kids are different and unique in their own way. So why not accept them with open arms with their uniqueness and support them to, work to their true potential, partner with speech therapists, partner with people like you to support the children on their journey, right? Aditi, you've given me a lot of food for thought now, in terms even of the fact that we need to be more sensitive to these children because at the end of the day, they're children. Though they're different, they're still unique in their own way. Aditi, thank you so much for taking the time out for this interview today. For all of you who are watching this video, if you at any point in time realize that there may be a red flag or there's something that you want to go back and assess about your child in terms of their speech or their communication, and you'll want to reach out to Aditi, below are her contact details. We've shared her email ID and her phone number with you. Please feel free to get in touch with her to help her, to take her support, on this journey with your kids. Thank you so much, Aditi, for supporting us on this journey. And thank you once again for taking the time out for this
Thank you.
interview.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank
Thank
you.
you.